increased amount of accidents at those intersections, and the hospital is going to see an increased amount of effect at their stoplight. So I totally disagree with their comment about. I also, they have a great presentation, and I think their apartment complex is lovely. And you're right, I do believe Nampa needs it. It needs it in a different area, honestly. I live on that street, and we know there's going to be changes, but we also know that this is going to be a problematic situation for the city. So, and it'd be nice to see a local developer have that property, no offense, but Indiana has no idea what our street is like. So, is there anything I'm missing?
No, you got it, babe.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Christy, was there anybody online that signed up?
Not that signed up. You might just throw it out there and see if there's somebody
Okay.
on.
Is there anybody else here to testify on this? Or online?
Could we get the city engineer to step up and answer the questions that she presented?
Yeah, he can't sit here all night.
Yeah. Is Daniel going to get
Right?
out there and direct traffic?
Gotta
Hey,
make
might as
him
well learn your
talk.
keep.
Madam Chairwoman and Commissioners,
Wait a minute. Michelle's online.
So there is a traffic study that will need to be done for this to identify and categorize the mitigations that will be needed for this project.
Okay.
My understanding from Caleb, my assistant, and the memo is that is in process. That is not something that is required to be completed at the time of a rezone. The triggers for that for the city of Nampa are at the time of a building permit application or at the time of a subdivision, is what would trigger that traffic impact study. But prior to any actual construction happening, a traffic impact study will need to be completed, mitigations identified, and those would be required to be done by the developer if they are not background traffic issues.
I guess the question I would have is what could be done there in that area, reasonably speaking?
There are intersection treatments that could be done. It's unlikely, well, I would say it's unlikely that on 12th Avenue that an additional signal would be easily accomplished there just because of the proximity between the Iowa signal
Right.
there and just the distances. Not to say that's not something that couldn't happen, but that would be something that would once again be identified by the traffic impact study, what is truly needed to mitigate the traffic proposal here. At the intersection of Hawaii and Sunny Ridge, that's currently just a two-way stop.
Right.
There's the potential of a four-way stop or a signalization or some combination of different mitigations to alleviate the traffic situation there. But without the traffic study, I couldn't say exactly what's needed or what would be appropriate at that intersection.
And then how about Constitution and 12th?
Constitution and 12th.
It's already a crap show.
Well, and that's, once again, that one's a three-way intersection. It's not likely that with a state highway there that you would ever be installing stop signs or anything there. Whether a traffic signal would be warranted there or not would be something that would be looked at in the scope of the study that we're talking about.
I think even without this, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Hawaii and 12th, what about a right only at that intersection? Because it's so jammed up from the Iowa signal, you can hardly ever turn left there anyway. I wonder.
Those are mitigation options that would be looked at in the analysis.
I think even without an analysis, it's safe to say that Sunny Ridge is gonna become pretty busy, because you can't hardly turn left onto 12th Avenue coming out of any of those.
Right.
Unless, because I always go to that light at Walmart to get across 12th Avenue. Anyways, it is gonna be a mess, but
And the development of these apartments, they will be required to pay the traffic impact fees that go into addressing traffic issues within our capital improvement plan, as well as any specific mitigations that it identifies the development would be required to undertake.
So if there's mitigation decided that they need to have a four-way stop at Hawaii and Sunny Ridge or a light, does that get put in at start of construction or into construction, or when does that come into play?
When we look at those, we oftentimes request that the developer or the engineer doing the traffic study look at the timing that is needed. Oftentimes, with the first couple of buildings, that's not needed. But at a certain point, a tipping point there where it does warrant that, we can condition it on the, X number of buildings are complete. The signal needs to be complete at that point. That's something we look at in the phasing on the traffic impact study.
So that will be in writing,
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for Daniel?
Good, thank you, Daniel. As usual, good job.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Patrick Stoffregan again, the applicant. I just wanted to chime in and say that we're more than happy to comply with whatever recommendations come from the traffic impact study.
Thank you. Can I make one more question or comment? You can't testify again. Sorry. You can, though.
On what you wanted to say.
Does anybody have any more questions for staff or the applicant? Is there anybody else that wants to give public testimony? Oh,
So, with the,
come up and give your name and address for the record, and then you can talk.
I'm Joseph Crust, 604 East Hawaii Avenue, Nampa, Idaho, 83686.
Thank you.
So with the ambulance barn going away, because that portion of Hawaii is an ambulance route where they have hospital signs and ambulance signs. Would the speed limit then increase on that portion of street? Because as it is, it's 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
and
it'd say
people
20
use it
miles
as
an hour. Right.
as a drag strip already. So if you take out the bus barn, could you put in speed bumps or drainage ditches to
That's
where?
kind of what their study that he's talking about.
Okay.
They will look at those kind of things like that for you.
Yeah, because
Part of what they do.
taking care of the intersections only does, so
You're right.
much. The flow of traffic through that street with kids and with the assisted living that they just built
Sure.
down and around the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
we've already seen a ton of more foot traffic, which is good. It's good to see people going out, elderly people walking their dogs, going to the park and whatnot. But with cars whizzing by there, it's no good.
Right.
Something would have to
Agree
be
with
done.
you.
Yeah, that traffic is fast down that
So,
street.
For 20, it sure is fast.
You know the best thing you need to do? Call the police department and complain to them.
We do, and they post up from time to time, but the police can only do so much. So, and they do a good job. They do a good job
The
there.
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
They do a good job. They set up their traps pretty good. So,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Thank you. Okay, I would entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed.
Christie, you got any cheat sheet?
Yeah, Mark? Thank you.
There's the motions. The map amendment and the conditional use permit. So one's a recommendation, the other one is a decision that can be insignificant if the first doesn't go through council.
Not necessarily, because the majority of the site,
Oh, that's right.
Is
Most of it
RP.
is, okay. It's just that one piece.
yeah, the one section.
Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, since I said I like the application's presentation, I'll carry on here and make the motion that we recommend to City Council approval of a zoning map amendment from RD to the RP for a portion of parcel so on and so forth, and all conditions set forth by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Adam. Okay,
Question, do you want to include an additional condition to maintain the open space?
I thought that was on the second part.
Oh.
Is that on the second part of
It's
the?
on the
yeah,
second part.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, that's what.
Okay, so motion and second to approve the map amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries and goes to city council.
And,
So now we have the conditional use permit.
okay, and for the conditional use permit, recommend approval of the CUP for multifamily residential apartments in an RP professional zoning district for 411, 515 East Hawaii and 0 Constitution Way. And skipping on for a gross and net density of 20.37 acres. No, density of 20.37 on 18.65 acres, located on a portion of lots 1 through 5, and buildings lots 6 through 10, and to include the director's, what is his,
Maintaining.
Maintain the open space presented.
that the applicant will maintain the open space as
Proposed.
proposed per the director, and with all conditions of staff.
Question, you made a recommendation for approval, but this is something that we approve here at the CUP, correct?
Yeah,
So
'cause
it's
the
just an upper
RP
map.
Us to recommend.
You say recommend, I always think city council.
Sorry, I thought about us.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the CUP with a condition of maintaining the open space that was presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries.
Thank you all very much. And
Thank
to our future neighbors, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to stay in touch and discuss as we continue down this process with you. Make sure that we address any of your concerns.
Thank you. And that concludes the meeting.
I need an escort to my car. Yeah, I think it's the best presentation I've ever seen. Yeah. I think Daniel will
He
take.
did, yeah. He didn't have any reason to stay, so.